From the mainline Dynasty entries to the countless anime adaptations, and even the Legend of Zelda spin-off, 1 vs 100 hack-and-slash Muso-style action can still produce some entertaining battles. Sure, it can get repetitive, but each game usually spins a decent yarn along the way to keep things interesting. Samurai Warriors 5 brings all of this to modern consoles and PC, alongside a visual refresh for its cast of Japanese historical figures, and it comes together into a safe but satisfying hack-and-slash experience. Each Samurai Warriors game so far has built on its predecessors by adding new characters and covering more obscure historical ground. Samurai Warriors 5 goes for the opposite approach, cutting the roster to the essentials and focusing in on a shorter span of time. It may be a tough trade-off for anyone who's seen these battles numerous times before, but it makes sense for the type of campaign Omega Force has put in place. Missions split into two paths, with one focusing on series headliner Nobunaga Oda and one on vassal-turned-rival Mitsuhide Akechi. Opportunities to play as one of the other 37 characters pop up from time to time, but most levels require spending time as the main heroes on the first playthrough. This decision makes Samurai Warriors 5's first handful of hours some of its most boring, since bouncing between characters and their various methods of attacking is the real joy of a game like this. It's easy to replay missions as other characters in free mode, but that can get monotonous. It's usually more interesting to push forward and hope for some options on the character select screen. Throughout the campaign, the mixture of cutscenes and animated visual novel segments really catch the eye. Each redesigned character goes a long way to distinguishing all the important players, especially for those unfamiliar with the series. In addition, the ink and paint inspired art style gives everything a distinct flair. No one is going to confuse this with Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, but Samurai Warriors 5 gives the series a standout visual style that impresses throughout. Once you get through the initial chapters and unlock a group of characters, some of Samurai Warriors 5's true appeal begins to shine through. Wielding a drum that produces energy blasts or an origami dove that freezes foes is a highlight of Omega Force's games, and there are plenty of wacky weapons hidden just beneath the surface. It never gets as crazy as Warriors Orochi or Warriors All-Stars, but there's plenty of over-the-top action here if you want it. Whatever weapon you pick, making hundreds of soldiers fly through the air over and over again remains a fun time in small doses. The returning hyper attacks ensure the characters never have to leave the action for too long, as their repeated strikes can drag a crowd of enemies forward with you. This keeps the action going, letting you rack up massive combos as you run between larger groups of foes. Samurai Warriors 5 also makes smart modifications to the tried and true Muso gameplay loop. Each character can mix and match a set of weapon-specific ultimate skills that provide both stat boosts and flashy super moves on a short cooldown. On lower difficulties, the attack boosts and Muso gauge refills can make levels easier than expected, but the extra moves do keep fights interesting. It also lets you save the truly flashy finishing Muso attacks for boss battles, which just feels right. Outside of story mode and the ability to replay missions with any character you like, the only other way to play Samurai Warriors 5 is in the Citadel mode. This is a smaller scale defense mode that has your chosen warrior running around the battlefield, stopping waves of enemies alongside either an AI or co-op partner. Pairing certain characters often can lead to support conversations a la Fire Emblem, and the missions also earn you resources that you can invest in various upgrade trees that feed right back into the story. Considering how linked the upgrade systems are, it's confusing as to why the Citadel missions couldn't have just been on a map alongside all the story content. The missions themselves aren't anything to write home about, but the prospect of squeezing out extra rounds with the more unique characters was too much to pass up. Samurai Warriors 5 will twist itself to appeal to a wide variety of Muso playstyles. If you want to just blast through the campaign as a guy with a sword, Samurai Warriors 5 is a tight story campaign featuring Nobunaga Oda and a few guest stars. If you're a returning Muso fan looking for a new favorite pastime, The side missions and Citadel mode will keep you busy for hours and hours, although things do feel toned down when compared to past games in the genre. The new art style should override any worries about redesigned characters, as Samurai Warriors 5 looks like a graphical leap over its predecessor and sets the groundwork for a new batch of expansions, spin-offs, and sequels to hack through in the years to come. For more, check out our reviews of Chris Tales and Death's Door, and for everything else related to famous battles that actually took place in ancient Japan, stick with IGN.